Hello everyone, welcome to RadioMythoverse for the date of July 18th, 2020. Right now it's just me and Brett on the stream since Dan has other things come up. And so now I...
Prayer
What?
has a prayer engagement. He has a prayer engagement this week. Let's just say.
Yeah. So basically just me and Brett for some odd reason because nobody else decided to show up. Brett, how's it going?
Still, come on, still, man. Like, this is a day we got. This is a day we gotta go live because we actually found. Because we cleared 100% on IndieGoGo this early today. So that's
What?
worth cel- that's worth celebrating, man.
Yep, 103% to be exact.
Yeah. So yeah, this is it's pretty. Yeah, that feels pretty good, right?
Yep, and we've got 4 days left on the IndieGoGo. Uh,
Oh, someone hopped in. It's Nebel.
hey, it's Neville.
Yo, what up?
Oh, did you hear the news that we cleared percent on the Indiegogo today?
I did. Pretty good shit.
Yep. And with 4 days left, it's very possible that we'll get considerably more on last day.
Alright.
And then I have it set for in demand, so after about a month I'll be closing in demand and we'll go into fulfillment.
Alright. Sweet.
And this is good, and we've still got 4 days left on the Kickstarter. So yeah,
And a pretty reasonable threshold to get through.
Yep.
yeah, we're down to $180 on the Kickstarter. We are.
Yep.
So.
And it's a Kickstarter tradition that we get fully funded on the last day.
Is it really? Because we've only done it one. Because it's only happened one other time. Does that really establish a precedent? Because I would always figure it's like maybe at least if it happens more than once, yeah, then as a tradition.
Well, we got nearly $1,000 on the last day for our last Kickstarter, even though that failed.
True.
So yeah. And like we said, there was a different situation back then. We had COVID to deal with. And it's very possible we have COVID now to deal with. So that's why people are waiting until the last minute.
This is true. Like I said, we've said this how many times, and I've lost count. But the first campaign we launched it in the middle of the Corona scare, which in retrospect was not wise on our part.
Yeah, but to be fair, we saw Cody the creator of Jack Irons, get about $4,000 on his last week.
This is true.
He also had a very sizable public relations push for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that is so true. It's like we saw him make like $10,000 at the last minute. So we were looking at that and say like, well, if Cody can do 10K, we can easily do 2K, right?
Well, I think what we're getting from this is as long as we keep pushing and keep the presence ongoing, we can generally get this stuff done.
It was the lesson we learned from the first campaign that you gotta keep your foot on the gas and not let up.
Mm-hmm. Also, I did more progress on Daddy Chan.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so for those who just tuned in and are not aware of this, Neville has this little project he's been working on the side called the Is it the president, the founding Chans?
I mean, if I call the project anything, I'm calling it Hail to the Chans.
To the Chans. Okay, yeah, that's it. Hail to the Chans, where he just takes all the founding fathers and makes them cute anime girls.
I'm actually deviating a little bit this time. I kind of had this idea for a character to make because I watched a lot of VTubers a little while ago, and I kind of like all the concepts with their avatars, and I'm like, okay, I want to. What if I had a VTuber avatar? What would it be? And I decided to like anthropomorphize the snake on the Gadsden flag, and thus Gaddy-chan was born.
And in case you're one of 5 people who don't know what that is the no step on snake.
Yep, that's the no step snake. Well, yeah. So I'm drawing a character that is based on the Gadsden flag snake.
He just takes all the founding fathers and makes them.
She's got slit pupils and a really, really, really long.
Cute anime girls.
I'm actually deviating. Oh boy.
If Dan was hosting today, we could probably show this off, but just know that I'm looking at it right now and it looks great.
Well, if you I guess if they follow on my Twitter at Alright, now I got the moment when I keep forgetting what my Twitter is. It's at PNIEDERBRACH. You look at my Twitter, I'll probably post the completed version of it, well, when it's done.
Post a link in the chat.
Yeah. Let me grab that. Okay.
There's a lot of the Hail to the Chan series on Devil's Twitter right now.
I think almost all of it.
At that right now.
I think almost all of it is Hail to the Chan stuff.
Well,
and we're joined by Alabaster Scarf.
Hey, Alabaster.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Okay, so I'm guessing you know the news now, Alabaster?
We have reached 100% on IndieGoGo.
Yep, 103%. Which is...
Nice.
Yep.
And we still have we still get $180 to go on Kickstarter. Funding for that ends on Wednesday, the 22nd.
We got about 3 days left, so we can make it.
What's the time on What's the time it ends?
At 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Wednesday,
funding for Kickstarter ends Wednesday, the 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern.
So you guys better get going.
So we are just gonna shill like we've never shilled before for this thing.
Oh, yep. Oh. All right, so how much more housekeeping stuff should we go through first for the stream?
Like I said, but the biggest news this week was that we cleared the goal on IndieGoGo.
All right.
Suppose we could talk. If Matt wants to, we could discuss if any further progress has been made concerning Mythics issue 2.
Sure. Right now, the script is complete. All we need to do to get the actual artwork done is to get the cameo in what they want to do, what they want to wear, if they want if it's them, or if they want to have their characters represented in there, or say a book they are making put in there.
Oh, got Salem in here. What's up?
Hey Salem, how's it going?
Hello, it's going well. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Campaign cleared IndieGoGo. And
Yeah, I was just about to say. Congrats on the speed of this thing, man. It's picking up really good.
yeah,
Well,
I don't
that's kind of how
think.
fun that goes. You always make the most money in your first and last weeks.
Yep.
Middle's always a little dodgy.
Yeah, especially the last one too. Last one we were stuck in the $1,000 range, and only hit 2,000 on I think the second or third to last day, which it went up to 2,600 as the final amount.
Shit, then I forgot how much we actually set the goal for that last one. It wasn't 2K, it was 3K, wasn't it?
4K. It was suggested by Dan to have some money just in case the fees were higher than we expected.
Alright. Yeah, okay, so, sounds like you still had something there.
Oh, if we go with the same amount, if we raise the same amount on the last day as we did on the last campaign, we could probably clear 2,600 again.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yep. And right now, excluding any double donors, we're at the same amount that we cleared at the last day for Mythics Issue 2's first campaign. So if this goes through, which it will, we'll have a larger audience than we had before.
Good, because I'm pretty confident we picked up a lot of new readers with the IndieGoGo.
Oh yeah.
It very well likely could have been people who were not on Kickstarter.
Yeah, people who wanted to back us before but did not want to back Kickstarter. Which is understandable considering all the scare stories that have been going around about Kickstarter.
I don't know a whole lot about it.
I suppose I'm not familiar with what's going on at Kickstarter.
Well, one of the
Fill them in, Matt.
concerns that people have is over.
Does it trace back to a book? Does it trace back to a book that rhymes with lawbreakers?
Yeah, we're not gonna go into that, but basically, one of the chief concerns is the Trust and Safety Board.
Okay.
Which is quite funny because IndieGoGo has one too.
It's in my personal opinion that if anybody has a quote unquote trust and safety board or something like that, it's almost inevitable that you're going to run into problems.
Yeah, but the thing is, IndieGoGo has one too, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not as widely advertised as Kickstarter's because a certain group has a hold on IndieGoGo, so they're not going to hurt what makes them money, which I don't blame them for, honestly.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to start anything. I was honestly curious about what
Oh, I know you weren't.
what was going on.
You tend to stay out of these things, so.
I don't like I don't like drama, but two, the thing is, it seems like almost every big service is going to bump into these problems unfortunately at one point or another because I mean, it's not just them, it's Twitter, Patreon, just a bunch of info and screw ups are coming out one after the other, and it just it's almost come to be kind of expected in a way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that there's gonna be something that happens to cause problems.
Where's that other shrew?
Huh.
Waiting for it to drop.
Oh, Nixon, is that
Shrew.
you?
I thought he said shrew. I thought he said shrew.
Nixon, how does the Twitter hacks compare to the Watergate scandal?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. There was nothing untoward about Watergate, but it
I
was
mean,
okay at the time with the president. Oh,
I mean,
fuck.
in fairness, it was never actually proven he knew anything.
Well, I learned about this in my journalist class, but I tend to give the professor who taught me this much more credibility because he was also a historian. But essentially, it's saying that it wasn't that Nixon didn't know about it. It's that he was informed of it later on, and that he chose not to do anything about it. I mean, the whole thing is a mess, and it was all screwy, no matter what angle you look at it from. But I think a lot of people on both ends of the argument, I think people point out the things that really don't matter, and they act like that is their smoking gun.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to miss the point.
The point being,
I mean, I'm just talking about in general.
I mean, because
okay.
a lot of people don't even know what Watergate is. Like you'll ask somebody about Watergate, and they'll just say like, "Oh, they got him because he was impeached because of the tapes, right?" And it's like, no, that's not. It didn't have to. The Watergate didn't have anything to do with tapes. The Watergate was in reference to the hotel in which I hope everyone knows where I'm going.
Oh, I know
What
that.
I'm
Yeah.
saying is, like,
Oh,
yeah. But you ask the average person, and they don't. It's like they think that it's about the Watergate tapes, and it's like, no, that is. I mean, the tapes are important to the story, but that is not what caused the whole thing to blow up. It was the break-in at the it was the It was the Democratic building, correct?
Yeah,
it was the headquarters of the DNC. It was the headquarters of the DNC campaign, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I forgot the name of it. The Watergate Hotel. I think that was it. But I'm gonna quit ranting. Sorry. I'm big into history, and just really since I got my minor in journalism, that was a really cool thing to study in college because in some ways that was the one moment that really changed journalism forever in history, and in my opinion, it was for the worse. But some people argue it's for the better. So it's interesting that people will observe the same case and then come to different conclusions.
It is.
Although you gotta hope that when they're looking at the same case, they're also looking at the same facts and still coming to different conclusions.
I mean, there's something to be said about that saying that no two people see a car wreck the same way, because like we've all heard that little anecdote. A couple people will have, like a dozen people see a car wreck, and you get 12 different stories.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the way that I personally see it is like there were some legitimate things that they could have gotten Nixon on, but I think even though I think that Nixon should have been prosecuted for some of the offenses he had made, I um, I I don't think that the intentions were very pure because like when you're looking to the guys who were involved in the journalist side of this stuff, they were very, very openly political. So this was not them trying to get to the truth. It seems to me that it was more so to just unseat a sitting president and make history.
So
We're
you
going in
kind
with
of
an
see
angle.
this.
And
So you kind
to me personally, I think intention matters too. So even though that I would have, I think that there was information you could have brought forth to make a case. Um, I don't think that they did it for the right intentions, and because of that, I think that it gave Americans a wrong perspective of journalism because then everybody wanted to be a journalist so that they could be the next person to find the next scandal and become the next celebrity, essentially.
The next, what were their names? Woodward and Bernstein.
Woodward and Bernstein, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you kind
it's
of
like,
think
and
this was.
if you can't find a scandal, make one up. Why? Who cares if you ruin someone else's life? You'll be rich.
Kind of a
So
far
it's kind
cry.
of-
It's kind of a far cry from the muckrakers back in the early 19th century. I mean, late 19th century.
Yeah, and that's what journalists are supposed to be. But nowadays, since journalists aren't that, we have to rely on ourselves, the citizens, to be the muckrakers. I mean, in order to find out what's really going on, you have to listen to several sources, not just one. So you have to do the muckraking yourself.
Even though the whole reason the journalistic profession exists is to sift through that information for us. But now that they've become basically activists or political actors, you can't really depend on them to do that anymore. You might as well just be listening to another politician.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm reminded of this. I'm reminded of this guy that was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I forget his name. He's talking about like how of online journalism, it's now all about finding a story that generates clicks instead of following the leads and getting the information as accurate as possible and telling just printing the truth out.
Yeah, and the other thing is that
It's all because everything moves so
one.
fast in the information in the internet age. Like everyone is racing to be the first one to break that story.
Yeah, and by doing that, you run the risk of getting it wrong. I mean, there was a New York Times documentary I'd seen. I don't remember when it was released. It was kind of recent. But the funny thing was, there was a scene where it's like they're contemplating whether to release a story or not because they don't have enough information, but they want to be the first ones to get it out. So it's like they spend almost 20 minutes of this thing trying to decide whether or not to click submit onto the internet or not. And it's like, dude, if you don't know if it's not true, why are you even? It shouldn't even be a question if you should publish it or not. But
like I said, it's like I said, that guy in that same episode said like it's about being the first person to break that story, not about whether or not it's true or not.
Yeah, once again, it's like I said earlier. It's like people want to be the celebrity journalist. They want to be the one to make they want to be the next one to unseat a Nixon, and I don't know, it's kind of disheartening, but at the same time,
Honestly, can we even say that Woodward and Bernstein even unseated Nixon? He resigned.
Well, if it weren't for them, I don't think he would have resigned. Because that's and I will tell you a little more sinister area in some of my journalism classes that weren't I would consider good. The professor in class for journalism that I wasn't very fond of said that it was probably the biggest accomplishment of the field was to unseat a president of the United States. And I just heard that. I'm like, you're proud of that? And, it's like you're.
It just makes you another power player.
Yeah, it's like unseating the president shouldn't be what made you happy. If you're trying to celebrate, digging up information, that's one thing. But, the thing is, the journalist's job is just to find information. It should end there. That should be the thing that's celebrated, end of story. But then you go past it and say, like, what effect your story caused, and it's like, that's not supposed to be your concern.
Was that old phrase, don't be the story?
Yeah, pretty much. That's actually a good phrase.
It's actually a real thing. Wow.
It's like gonzo journalism.
It also kind of reminds me, but it's got that
roboted.
It reminds me of this one meme I saw on Twitter. It's like their dog and stuff.
Oh yeah. The
Muscular
mafia
dog.
might kill me, but I'll post the story anyway. Somebody called me gay in a video game. Now I need a month vacation.
Different one. It was a difference between how Vice used to come to break news and how they do it now. Vice then I'm gonna go to the most dangerous war-torn areas and film it, only because people need to know about this.
They did an amazing expose on the cartels. Like legit, it was so amazing, and now they're spewing just shit.
Now Vice now, and reasons why SpongeBob might
And
be
it's
a
not even
homophobe.
interesting. The stuff they were doing back when they had more integrity was way more interesting, way more exciting.
Yeah, when he had Tim Pool running around Vice, that he was actually doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, it kind of goes without saying that Vice lost something when Gavin McInnes and Tim Pool left, and they never got it back.
Yeah, that thing was
Yeah.
journalism. What up?
To be fair, I would kind of like it if Tim actually went out and did that again instead of I'll give him a pass right now because it's coronavirus. But I think I appreciated his actual journalism a little more than just commentating on news stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically podcasting them these days.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
some
it's
of it
like
that I
he can
like.
do what he wants, but I appreciated him actually being the person to go into these dangerous areas to find what's actually going on. It's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think,
So
I
I
think,
think
I think Subverse was kind of doing that with Hong Kong. But yeah, there's an aspect of it that there's some of the commentary with Tim that I like, but there's some of it really bothers me especially when he starts prognosticating a lot, where he keeps trying to predict whether this is the end of Trump or not, or whether Trump is on track. That it's like, okay, your prediction changes every day, dude. Maybe just get out of the prediction game.
All this talk of I don't mean to switch up the subject too much, but all this talk of journalism makes me wonder if we have a journalist character in the Mythoverse.
I think it, Matt. Wasn't it in in Althea's backstory that she tried going and getting her degree in journalism, but didn't stick with it.
Yeah. Mainly because he
Alright, so
found it too.
Sorry.
Sorry. Mainly because she found it too much towards the political side. Basically, I'm just making a crack at how politicized journalism's become. It was especially as bad during the Bush years.
Ooh boy.
Yeah.
That's
I
an
don't
interesting
know. I'm
time.
almost of the opinion that it just gets worse by the year.
Well, I guess the more the model gets rewarded, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Kind of like fuck. I don't know if you guys have seen Razor Fist's Black Sabbath episode of Metal Mythos. If you're going to, you better. If you're going to, you better have a couple hours free in the day. It's long. There's one point he makes, and somewhere in the middle, about like how there were hostilities between Ozzy and the rest of the band for years, and the reason being because every time Ozzy dunked on Sabbath, the fans loved it.
Every time Ozzy what Sabbath?
Every time he dunked on Sabbath, the more the fans loved it, and the more money he made.
Oh. A productive business model to trash your own band.
He wasn't in the band at the time. He was solo.
So he
Oh,
talked crap about his future band.
or his former band.
And man, he still started in Black Sabbath. Everyone
okay.
knows that. It's
Yep.
the thing was thing was what's funny about it is what the impetus for him to start shitting on them was, and that was they brought in Ronnie James Dio, and I honestly think because I don't know if anyone knows this, but Ozzy is not the most secure of individuals.
I feel like the drug and the booze kind of told me that. Or the drugs and the booze told me that.
Kind of felt a little bit threatened that Ronnie might have been better than him.
I have to admit, I actually do like. Depends on the songs, but there are some Ronnie songs that I like better than Ozzy's.
It's not just that. I mean, like, sort of compare them in overall technique. I mean,
Well, I think Ozzy had more of the bluesy vocals, and then I don't know how to describe Ronnie or Dio's. Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, like, is it? What is? I guess you could say it's like. This is something I guess most people would call like classic metal vocals, but I think it's more like. I think it might be supposed. Like how high his range was, I think it was more operatic to be. I would say. Do you guys feel like that's accurate? The way Ronnie sang?
Don't know enough about either's performances, but
I mean, what I do know is that he tend to be at a really high range, and I feel like he uses falsetto quite a bit. So that just sounds like that's pretty standard kind of 70s onward rock kind of thing.
Not just that, he projected a lot with his voice. Okay, Drew Tedden in the chat is asking what's going on in issue 2. So Matt, that
Basically, Alfia gets a new job to take that, which is essentially to take out to evict a Spriggan from the Metro Park where she rescued baby Arlene from. And she's afraid of Spriggans. Off of that, there's the whole problem with Gallatin, her familiar, getting recalled back to the spirit realm because there's been a family emergency, which will be covered in a future issue. But basically, Althea has to face one of her greatest fears in this issue and do it without her familiar. She'll have her friend Morella with her to take care of the problem, but she's not certain if that's going to be enough.
Pretty
now,
important to have clothes to turn inside out.
that's a big thing. But yeah, as of now, where is it standing? Like, where's it stand, progress wise? Just in terms of overall production.
In terms of production, because of the cameo rewards that we're running, we've got 5 pages done, which are in the samples, and as soon as we get the information from the backers who chose the cameo rewards, we'll start going on it so that we'll know where to put them in as the production goes on. So I'm thinking that it's more likely going to be around the point of we'll probably get started on the production about a week after the campaign ends so that we have all the information we need to do the cameos.
I just checked Kickstarter, and we are currently at $18.92, so $108 left to go.
I'm getting chills.
Love you.
I'm done.
yeah, I updated the badge.
A Sauron.
Nice. Thank you, Alabaster. Wait,
Yeah, so link to the Kickstarter is in the chat, and we just need $108 more to go.
Yep, and thank you, Gorgonite Emissary. It's it tells you a lot that persistence is what you need to run a campaign.
I think we have a lot more backers than there was for the first round of Mythoverse comics, unless my memory is.
Well,
It was in the 70s. It was in the 70s, if I remember correctly.
the issue ones
Okay.
were in the 170s. Issue 2 for Mythics was 74. And right now we're sitting at, let's see.
55 plus 21, 76.
Okay.
Yep. But if we're not, but we have a couple of double backers, so it's probably about the same amount that we had last time.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, like we are almost there.
Yep.
That's good. So how are we doing on Patreon stuff right now?
Let me take a look.
Have we been kicked off Patreon yet?
No, we have not been kicked off Patreon yet.
Thankfully, no, but we are currently at 34 patrons. Something that I hate about the Patreon mobile app, it does not show you how much you're bringing in monthly. It just shows you how many patrons you've got.
Not terribly helpful.
They expect you to do the math.
I would have to open the page myself to see it. Let's see. All right, let's look this up. So, all right. Before I forget, Matt, let people know when you plan to do fulfillment on this.
Fulfillment will begin in September. We'll have the in-demand open from the end of the campaign to the end of August.
Alright.
Yep. So if you missed the campaign on either Kickstarter or IndieGoGo, you have a month left to pick up what you missed.
Alright.
And I think this is also going to be the last time because I'm pretty sure some new people jumped on, and as this is an issue 2, they might not have gotten issue 1, and we included that here.
Oh yeah. It's always good business to have the previous issue in the campaign.
Hat, hat, cough, cough. Jawbreakers, cough, cough.
Well,
I'm still getting.
Let's not ruffle the feathers, okay?
Yeah, but I'm still getting
Well, you know what the
updates.
sad thing is? I would have bought it. I legit would have gotten Lost Souls, but they're like, oh, the previous issue won't be available ever again, and I'm like, well, then I won't be able to know the whole story. So, what's the point?
Yeah, it's really detrimental to your audience, especially the fact that these aren't going to be collector's editions that you might think they're going to be later on down the road.
yeah, I don't think the Mythoverse really operates on a collector kind of model.
Not yet.
Cursory study of even the most cursory study of comic history will show you collectors are what nearly killed the industry, or rather, not collectors catering to collectors.
Artificially trying to create collectible stuff before you know that you have an audience. Collector stuff becomes collector stuff organically. It cannot be forced.
Yeah, because collection's kind of natural.
I mean, the reason why a mint condition copy of Action Comics #1 is worth like $1 million, probably worth more, or I haven't bothered checking its current going price these days, is the reason why that comic goes for so much is because it's not being printed anymore.
Yeah.
And it's old.
Not being printed.
It's the first appearance of what's arguably the most famous superhero of all time.
And let's not forget that comic books back then were made of really cheap, degradable material that was routinely thrown away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so basically, it's all about scarcity as well.
Yeah.
They were literally
There's just a bunch
like
of factors that
magazines.
come together.
They were literally just magazines, like just
Pulp.
paper staples
They're-
together.
Or pulp books.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think comics back then, people making them were expecting them to become. I'm sure they
No,
expect
because-
people to
because
collect
if
them,
they
but
did-
not like hardcore collect them.
No, because if they did, then Joe Simon and Jerry Schuster would not have died poor and broke.
Well, that's screwed over.
Partially, yeah. Honestly, those guys did not. Those guys should have died millionaires.
They really should have. Oh. Well, two things. One, I remember reading a story about how there was like some tribe that had very little human contact that actually, like, on a subsequent visit, one of them recognized the S shield. Somebody had, like, on a shirt or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's how identifiable Superman is.
Literally, these people in the back in the deep jungles of the Amazon. Never seen a TV screen in their life. You're trying to communicate
Yeah.
with them before they cook you, before they cook you, eat you. You just say the words Superman, and they're like, "This guy's cool."
And then,
Organized.
Or they'll say, I prefer Batman and cook you anyway.
They just they like.
I was
the
in a-
tribe leader. He like reveals like a tattoo, a tribal tattoo, and it's just a bat symbol.
that would be funny.
Oh, fuck.
No, it's a Marvel symbol.
These
Oh,
are,
Lord.
I mean, a lot of these characters are relatable enough that I feel like any culture could kind of adapt them as part of, something. But I remember
mean,
being in
like-
class. I want to say I was in like second grade, and there was we were all just there was like some sort of free time for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why. You used to have free time in classes, and I was I was reading I don't think it was a Guinness Book of World Records, or if it was, it wasn't like the big one that's like the splash pages and stuff. It was just like text, paperback. And another kid had like a really old comic book that had Superman on it. And I thought, oh, hey, that's really cool. That looks like really old. And I was just reading through it and, kind of entry by entry, and then it's like most valuable comic book ever is Action Comics #1, and it listed the price, which I don't remember what it was at that time. This was the 90s. And I look back over at the comic book, and it was Action Comics #1.
Holy shit.
It was this old copy that his grandfather had had.
He just brought it with him to school? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
That's what I had a conversation with a friend of mine. It's like, when you think about it, like, if you could go back in time and just save all the stuff that you didn't think nothing of it except that it was just a cool thing that you just bought, play with your friends or enjoyed or read. If you had kept all that stuff, you would be like a million.
Assuming, of course, you ever sold it, which I probably wouldn't.
Well,
I'd probably be like, no, this is mine.
But even though, like, there are some things like, what was it? I was looking through, like, Pokemon cards, for example. Like, there are some Pokemon cards, the shitty ones, the ones that you straight up are like, it's a fucking, what's a stupid?
Pokedex.
Yes, it's like a cheap little Pokedex that was built back in the freaking 90s. That it's a just useless piece of plastic at this point today. However, someone out there is willing to pay thousands of dollars. It's like,
I actually have that Pokedex, which my mom, bless her, my mom went to several different stores throughout, I think, at least 2 or 3 counties in order to get me one.
mhm.
I
And
don't remember having one of those.
and I also have Ash's hat. It's right over here. It's hanging above my mirror, actually, right now.
Holy shit.
It doesn't fit anymore. It was made for kids, but still.
It was made for
You ain't
small
trying hard
youth.
enough.
It was made for a 10-year-old kid.
You ain't trying hard enough. That's
Who
what
would
it
have
sounds like.
thought?
Quitter talk.
Shrink head, wear hat.
Oh my
And
gosh,
then
that reminds
at
me
that
of
point, Alabaster might as well get. I was gonna say, if we're
sorry.
talking about shrinking heads, Alabaster may as well get into voodoo.
I used to read Captain Underpants a lot, and there was like a Dave Filkey's art thing on the website, and one of the things you could print out was like a little graduation cap, cut it out, and like I think step 3 was like use a shrink ray to shrink your head to the size of a grapefruit, and put on the hat because it was so small.
You know what? I forgot my shrink ray. Damn shame.
I really appreciate the sense of humor in those books.
Yeah, I was at a college age reading level by the time I got around to reading those. This must have been like 3rd or 4th grade, I think. And they still hold up. Like adults will read this book and find it funny.
You know what I always think would be funny? It's like, you know how they have like the great scholar author, like back in the old days, like freaking Homer with the Odyssey and stuff like that, Dante with mine. Imagine if you walk into them, you sat them down with a bunch of books, like they can understand enough to like, you know, enjoy them. And their favorite books are shit like Captain Underpants and shit.
Well, you sit
not
down.
Like Lord of the Rings, not like Lord of the Rings and no like modern classics. You literally sit there. It's like, which books did you like the most? I like the one with the guy in his underwear as a superhero.
See, that's
it's
kind
okay to like lowbrow humor.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
well, you gotta remember that George Lucas was a big fan of cheesy Flash Gordon serials.
It was. He absolutely was.
Who wasn't back in the day, though?
Yeah, but that wasn't thought of as like high art. That was just like average people's like popcorn flicks. And by the time Lucas got around to them, they were secondhand, and he just saw reruns of them on TV. And he was like, "Oh, this is really cool." Yeah, I think he also watched Commander Cody. He was like, "Wow, look at this guy tweaking his nipples to fly. That's pretty neat."
And then you got the Glenn Larson shows, which are basically remakes of Star Trek and Star Wars.
People don't know this. Original Battlestar Galactica, it got canceled just because it was so expensive. Like, I'm not kidding. One episode of Battlestar Galactica costed $1 million to produce at the time.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine had about $5 million budgets per episode.
Wait, are you talking about the Battlestar Galactica in the 70s?
Yep.
That's classic Battlestar Galactica.
Wow.
It was canceled because it was too expensive for its time.
Yeah, because they were using movie grade special effects.
And ABC just did not want to fork out the money. It's like, okay, we are paying $1 million for an episode for this show. This is.
I think this is also before they really figured out the merchandising angle that Lucas came up with for Star Wars.
Yeah, and
turns out one of the really important things to do is make characters that people give a shit about.
Yeah, and then they gave us Galactica in 1980.
Starbuck was pretty cool.
Galactica in 1980 did not have Starbuck. It did not have. And the only characters that were held over from the original show was Commander Adama.
Of course, then we get the 2004 reboot series, which I actually do have fond memories of that. Up until season 4.
It went off the rails as soon as they killed off Starbuck.
Season 4 got weird.
Season 4, they lost the plot.
It was, yeah. And then and they try and get all metaphysical and say like God's been guiding our exodus this whole time. It's like,
Which, I mean, kind of makes sense considering the dude was writing it as like a Mormon allegory, the original. But I think unless you're really, yeah, it's one thing to have it as like an allegory, but to use that as a plot point and then only to introduce it like halfway through the show is kind of weird.
It wasn't halfway through the show. It was like it was practically at the 11th hour.
Oh well, I wouldn't know. I didn't watch it. I only saw the first few episodes.
Listen, there's a lesson in writing you learn. It's called subverting expectations.
Oh god.
That is not subverting expectations. That is writing yourself
Lazy.
into a corner and trying any way to get out of it.
No, see, here's the thing. You expected a good story, and they subverted your expectations by giving you a crappy one.
You get to subvert our expectations by giving us a crappy resolution.
Exactly.
So are you
Yeah.
trying to say that
The first 3 seasons, they were good.
are you trying to say that Ron Moore was doing a Ryan Johnson before Ryan Johnson was around?
Oh, come on! This is.
I'm a firm
Not-
believer that.
See,
Can we not put Ron Moore on the same
yeah,
level with
I
Ryan
think
Johnson, please?
I think we're. I think there's
I will
gotta
say-
be like a version of God winning that applies to Ryan Johnson.
I will say this, that like for me personally, an ending to a show personally can make or break the entire experience. Like if I'm watching, like let's say I'm watching a show for 10 seasons, I love all seasons, every episode, but the ending is just the dumbest thing possible. It will ruin the entire show for me.
Yeah,
That's why
exactly
Sauron
right.
is never gonna, and that's why Sauron is never gonna watch Game of Thrones.
I have watched Game. See, the thing about Game of Thrones is, when it was popular, I never watched it. I just did not care about it. It wasn't until the 8th season came along, I was working night shift. Literally, everyone else on the shift with me, huge Game of Thrones nerd. And so, in order to be part of the group, I said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna watch season 8." Season 8 was literally my first season of Game of Thrones I ever.
You poor bastard.
I know, and I was literally just like watching it, and I slowly saw them, because I seen them watch the other season, right? And they were all excited for it, and I slowly watched season 8 just shitty for them, and they, I can hear their excitement die with each episode, and I just like, I joined at the best and worst time. It's great because I get to talk shit about the show with you guys, but it's worse because you keep telling me how great the show was, and I'm just like.
I remember when Matt and Blossom were tweeting about it, and I kept asking them, "Why are you torturing yourselves?"
Because I saw the 4th season of Battlestar Galactica.
I mean, at that point, you're 8 seasons in. You gotta finish. Like, you know what I mean? At this point, you've made it this far. You might as well finish it.
Also, I've seen a number of Damon Lindelof's stories, and that's pretty much giving immunity to bad story writing.
Like, I suppose that was kind of more or less my mindset with getting through season 4 of Battlestar Galactica. It's like I liked what I saw up and this is kind of where I diverge from Sauron. Like, and look, like you'll never hear me say season 4 was good, but the first 3 seasons were some really good sci-fi television. Like, portrayed daily life in on the Galactica, and just how well they showed how desperate the situation was, and just how the toll it was taking on the characters.
Oh yeah, there's always like, even with those seasons, like, because like I still stand by like my whole end kind of ruin the show, but at the same time that doesn't mean I can't still enjoy the seasons. It's just that like there's always that little bit of myself when I'm sitting there, I'm watching, oh my god, this is great, and then that little voice in the back of my head is like, yeah, but remember how this ends, and it's like the enjoyment's still there, but it's just not the same.
You know, the warning was in the signs when I just took a look at movie scripts. You know who wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Who?
Top of my head, no.
David
Joss Whedon.
David
Walk away.
Benioff was one of the
Yeah.
writers on X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he was one of the showrunners for Game of Thrones.
Yep, I remember that. I remember seeing someone talk about that. Was like, we really
Oh my
should
God.
have been surprised. He was basically saying like, we really should not have been surprised, and it was basically like a conspiracy theory. The only reason why Game of Thrones was as good as it was because majority of the show wasn't even done. You know, like it was done by them, but they literally had books to pull stuff. They didn't have to really create anything themselves.
Which, if you read the books, you could tell what parts they've actually made up themselves, and those are always the terrible parts. And hey, Neostar, how's it going?
How about this? Another show I'm really fond of is Deadwood. Deadwood did not get a bad ending. It just did not get an ending at all. Like, the way season 3 ends, it feels like there was still more they wanted to do with the show, but HBO did not renew it for a 4th season because Deadwood wasn't a ratings darling, basically.
It wasn't popular enough, basically.
Show it just didn't pull in ratings.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because like a lot of shows, you'd be surprised. Well, a lot of shows, it's like they get canceled because of that. It's like, listen, we're not getting enough people for us to think this is a good investment. Or it's like, or they just straight up say we don't feel like supporting for whatever.
Meanwhile, the rest of the lineup is like Marsha.
Hey, Bunny.
Hey,
Oh, Bunny, the rest of them line up on. Okay, I gotta look up when Deadwood was on air here for a sec, because I gotta know what it was going up against at the time. But I do like that little crack she made. That is true. Like, the rest of the lineup is a bunch of really crappy sitcoms that are all pretty much interchangeable with one another.
So you want to know
So
what
interchangeable that they last a season and then a new one comes up.
do you want to know what the next project for the creative geniuses of David Benioff and D.B. Weiss?
Oh,
it was supposed to be Star Wars, right?
Nope, it's now a Netflix special called Leslie Jones' Time Machine.
Well, I remember because like at the time, this was a conspiracy theory where supposedly they rushed the ending of Game of Thrones because they were supposed to do a Star Wars movie trilogy, and so that became like a conspiracy theory that they wanted to hurry up and get done with Game of Thrones so they can jump on Star Wars.
Actually, it was confirmed that they were going to be doing a Star Wars trilogy since Disney announced it.
Yeah, and then they got canceled.
Yep, because of the
And a lot
backlash.
of people were like, the backlash of Game of Thrones is like, all right, these guys are like social pariahs.
Yeah.
Story they're on, no one's gonna want to watch it because Game of Thrones was that popular. Like,
There's still people shilling for Ryan Johnson, though, saying like, "Oh my gosh, Ryan Johnson could still do another trilogy.
I
That
know.
would be so amazing."
And
What-
what were you going to say, Bunny?
I heard that the reason why Game of Thrones ended the way it did was because they ran out of source material way before.
That's partly true.
It's partially, but even what's his name, George R. R. Martin, even said that like, if they really wanted,
They had notes. They had
he
notes
had-
from him.
They had notes from him, and he was. I remember there was an interview saying he was willing to like divulge stuff to them.
There are also
Them.
plot lines that they refused to go with, like the Northern Conspiracy. Instead, the whole Northern Conspiracy turned into the Northern Lords were just a bunch of cowards who did whatever the Boltons told them to do.
The Boltons.
Okay, so I went
Can I
look.
just-
So,
Sorry, I just wanted to say like, so after watching season 8, I did go back and rewatch the other seasons, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. This is what I've been missing. But one thing that always bothered me is how of all the houses, of all the great houses, the Boltons, their flag was a freaking flayed man. And I was like, So let me get this straight. Your ally is a guy who has a flayed man on his flag, and you don't expect him to betray you at any point in time? Are you kidding me?
Well, they didn't
Is that
also didn't
really any
expect.
different from any of the other houses?
They also didn't
I mean,
expect
yeah.
them to betray them at a wedding either.
Well, yeah, the wedding, I get that, but I'm saying, like, of all the houses, you got the Lannisters with the freaking line, the Starks with the wolves, you got with Greyjoys with the freaking Kraken and stuff. Like, they're all animals and stuff like that. But this one's literally a flayed man, literally a skinned man, a predator's dream house. And you're sitting here being like, these guys are our allies, we can trust them.
The Boltons aren't the Stark's allies. They were a vassal house.
That's true, but you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, at the time they were the allies.
Well, it wasn't exactly something that was negotiable. It was more along the lines of they pledged their loyalty to the house, and they've been the vassals of the Starks for centuries.
Okay, now getting back to Deadwood, I just took a look, and
Sorry.
here's what when Deadwood was on air. Here's what it was going up against. Anyone want to take a guess?
I have no idea, because
When Deadwood was airing on HBO, it was going up against The Sopranos.
That'll do it.
Seems legit.
Up until that became disappointing.
Well, you know what they say.
Ending is okay. How about?
Uh-huh.
Are you gonna say, buddy?
I was gonna say, you know what they say, you either become the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and I feel like similar things happen to these television shows. They just outstay their welcome.
Yeah, pretty much.
But let's not talk about Big Bang Theory.
Or
Big Bang Theory.
Please, let's not.
Let's not talk about that period, cause
Let's not and say we didn't.
yes.
Bazinga.
Yes.
Bazingas.
This is a hill I will fucking die on. Bang Theory and its consequences have been a disaster for nerddom.
Yes, it has. I stand by that. It made it. Everyone keeps talking about how like nerdom died with the mainstream. It's like, what do you think helped cause that? What do you think brought normies into nerdom? It was the Big Bang.
Damn the normies.
It wasn't the source, but it definitely played a factor.
Damn the normies.
It's
We
a
must
it's a
start a
com-
nerddom revolution.
Oh my god.
You know what makes me feel bad about it?
You're gonna say
The
14
guy-
words to that effect?
The guy who played what's his name, Sheldon, he actually went to a high school in my area.
Like,
Uh-huh.
Houston area?
It makes me sad because I was like, I got no relation to the guy. Never met him. Literally not even in the same classes. But the fact that I know that he came from my area, I feel responsible.
Welcome to how I feel every day of my life.
You know,
I'm just talking about California in
I
general.
had a friend
You have
who
friends?
went to the same high school. Yes, I have friends. Sauron, deal with it. I wasn't a friend who went to the same high school that
That's
Ariel
a cool
Ivanovich
high
went to, and now I'm just starting to understand.
Sorry.
yeah, too, is that I'm from the same state that gave the world Kurt Cobain and Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell.
And they never let you forget about it.
Listen, I kind of like, right?
You know, we're in the same state that gave us rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat.
Rice-a-roni's okay.
There's way worse.
It makes you feel better. I'm the last. I'm in the last state that that had slavery. Was that?
But you're also from the same state that had Pantera.
That is true.
You guys just made this conversation dark. God dang it! I need to get a drink.
My name is Solomon.
I
That
don't
is not
mind
an
it.
excuse to be a downer, okay?
He got defeated
What
by
were you gonna
Hobbits.
say? What were you gonna say, Albaster?
I don't mind. I don't mind Pantera, but I really cringe whenever somebody says that Sixes is a better theme for Broly than the orchestral one from
I think
Super.
that one just has nostalgia.
It's gotta be because
Wait.
it's a really boring
So
song.
they actually used a Pantera song in a Dragon Ball Z movie.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the early, when the Dragon Ball Z movies were first being dubbed in English.
I remember that, but I do not. But I don't remember is there being a Pantera song.
I know History of Trunks also had it.
Deftones was on. Deftones was on one of them, and they're from California. Disturbed was on a couple. They're from Chicago.
Well, most of them
Yeah,
are from
Disturbed's
this.
probably like the most. It's the band that's on the most of the movie. But like, to be fair, like, I'm not saying that the Panthera song is better than the. I don't want to sound like an edgy. The scene very well.
It really doesn't. Looking at the lyrics and actually listening to the sound, no, that is incorrect.
The music fits.
The music is way too droning. Sixes. It's too droning. It's gotta be way more intense than that. Tens. It's some kind of number.
Let me put it this way. In watching this, okay, it probably is nostalgia speaking, really thinking about it. But every time I see the scene, I don't think it's better, but I still like it. Put it that way. It's not better. Like, by no means is it better than the new Broly scene. However, I still enjoy it. So it's probably just me being the edgy boy from the 90s, just being like, fuck you.
I guess I never had that I'm into metal phase.
It's not
like you're out of that phase.
It's not a phase, Dad.
I think it's tens you're thinking of. That's
sixes. Okay. Well, like I'm not
a huge. It's a number. It's a number.
Not a huge metal dude.
You can understand why. Oh god, this is off Great Southern Trendkill. This was where they kind of toned down the aggression.
Yeah, it's more of a droning kind of sound.
This was supposed to be a more slower, more atmospheric one that they made, and
odd choice.
So also keep in mind, like, the Broly of that original movie is not the tragic character of the new one. He's literally just straight up a dude.
Yeah.
He's just a really powerful dude. There's no depth to him other than just strong.
Kakarot! That's his entire character, which is weird because why would seeing him? He never saw Kakarot.
I read this somewhere. I don't know.
How did he even know Kakarot's name?
I read this. So here's the thing. Supposedly, this is something I read a long time. I can't remember where exactly I read, but supposedly the whole story behind that original movie is that both Goku and Broly were born on the same day, and there's like a legend or something that any two Saiyans who are born on the same destined to fight each other.
Literally never heard that.
It's like, I think it comes from, because back in the day, Shonen Jump used to release like, they would release like what do you call it? Not bonus chapters, but there's certain things with the comics stuff that literally does not appear in the books, but it is still technically quote unquote canon, and that was one of them for the movies, I think.
Still sounds so dumb.
Broly's father mentions it. He mentions that they were born on the same day, as if it's in an.
That's still dumb.
I'm not saying it isn't dumb, because it is dumb, because the movie does not explain it.
It's so dumb.
It is dumb.
If I can make one suggestion, if they were going to use any Pantera song on a Dragon Ball Z movie, here's one they should have gone with. And if you know the story behind this song, it makes perfect sense. 5 Minutes Alone. Anyone know the story behind 5 Minutes Alone?
I hardly know the story behind Pantera.
Is it about masturbation?
Hey.
This is what Phil says about it. There are always gold diggers out there. Way I remember it was
Okay, I brought up the music video, and it literally says story behind the song on the official video.
Yep, there are always gold. The way I remember it was that there was this kid that swore that I jumped off the stage and beat him up. That was bullshit. That did not happen. Father asked for 5 minutes alone with me. Our manager responded aptly and perfectly, "No, you don't." I really doubt that. Basically hung up on the guy. Once that story was conveyed to me, it actually made me angry because it wasn't fucking true. I basically plucked those words from my agitator's mouth and said, and yeah, man, 5 minutes alone, fucking bring it.
Well,
Phil used to get into fights all the time back in the day.
sounds about right.
So that was also, in case anyone was wondering, yes, that's me doing my best impression of Phil Anselmo.
I wanted to say something, but at the same time, I was like, is he doing a voice? It sounds like he's doing a voice. I don't know.
Yes.
But at the same time...
Yeah. Well, it's not... Just so you know, it's not supposed to be a Texas accent. It's about... Phil's from New Orleans.
I'm kidding.
If it doesn't sound Texan, that's because it's not.
It doesn't sound Texan, it's blasphemy.
Bro, hey, what's wrong with the NOLA accent, man?
Because freaking Northern people have like two accents. They have.
And some
I'm watching this music video
when he talks.
So I'm watching this Pantera music video, and I'm pretty sure I could kick every single one of their asses.
But see, they have Broly on their side.
Seems kind of bizarre to be throwing shade like that, but whatever.
They have Broly on their side. You can't beat. You're gonna start fighting, and then they're gonna be like, they're gonna just summon him out of nowhere. It's like Broly.
Hey, destroy my enemies! I want to see if any... That's from...
But thinking back on it, like those DBZ movies, when you really think about it, they are not good
They're
movies.
dumb.
They're just fun animation.
They're really only
when you get right down to it, they're basically wrestling pay-per-views.
They really are. Well, that's how they're advertised in Latin America.
Well, because Latin America, they have like showing parties.
They do.
I remember when Broly came out, during Super Broly, they literally had like this huge hype, almost concert, and they would literally have like a guy DJ who would basically be the hype man for like someone would show up and they'll be like, Goku! And apparently that was the inspiration for the soundtrack to Broly. Because you know how in the soundtrack you'll hear like a guy in the background, go
Broly, go Broly, go.
The guy who did the soundtrack, the Japanese dude, he was inspired by Latin American viewing. So the guy would just be a hype and just integrated that into the soundtrack. Fucking works.
And Neville's going to say the words.
What words?
Hey, that's my word.
Nobody. No, it's more. No, it's. So what? Nobody heard the meowing all of a sudden.
I heard something.
What meowing? Cat?
Filthy fur creature.
Fur beast!
It sounded like you said her.
That's what he said. That's it. Neostar says, agreed. Big Bang Theory totally screwed over nerddom. Let's leave that corpse rotting in a shallow grave, shall we?
Whew.
Speaking of corpses, does anyone still watch The Simpsons?
Nope.
That was a great segue. Speaking of corpses, the deadest show on TV.
Oh my god.
Hashtag cancel The Simpsons.
Okay, I posted one of the Latin American posters in Weebs.
Can't look at it because Leo keeps trying to snuggle up to me and get in the way of my face.
Filthy fur creature.
It's for episode 130, it looks like.
I'm surprised you could understand it, considering he's right in my face right now. Like he's actively trying to block my ability to speak.
You're trying to suffocate. But you aren't taking.
Has anybody got a chance to see it yet?
I'm on the mobile, so I'm not even looking at it. Let me see.
All right, I'm looking.
Where'd you post it?
Weebs.
Beeps. And
Of course.
is that what I think it is? Are those what I think they are?
Yeah.
All the figures not art of her.
I meant did they actually put etchy Bulma statues on the poster?
If you understand Latin America at all, this really shouldn't surprise you.
No, yeah, this looks about right. I'm more surprised that they made it the figurines and not just art of her doing that.
I have to show this to Victor.
I see nothing wrong with this.
Oh, but
In
this
fact-
it's just you've got official art, and then what looks like Photoshop figurine photos.
Listen, think about this. Like, how many times have you created or designed something and
Here's
you're
another
like,
one.
it just looks better to you? Because I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. It's just like, this looks better.
Who did it look
Whoever was
better
making it.
to?
This is like
Okay,
They
that
don't
one's
match.
badass.
look at it, they don't match, but they don't match. Like I said, you've got official artwork of Goku and Jiren in the background, and then you've got these clearly photoshopped pics of Bulma figurines.
Listen, there's a thing called the rule of cool. It's when you
This does
ignore-
not follow it.
to you maybe.
Yes, to me.
The second one is
This is how we know you're not Hispanic. I love this.
Who
I don't know
is
if that has anything to
Hispanic?
do with it, but I love it.
I am. Yeah.
There's nothing Hispanic about this except for the Spanish on here, but I love it.
Double. The other. What's your?
I'm part,
your
I'm part Panamanian.
We're on YouTube, right?
And Twitch.
Anyone watching this? Anyone like just prove if I'm crazy or not. I don't know how many Hispanic people are in the chats or whatever.
It's
Just tell
me.
me, is this awesome? Is it awesome, Alabaster?
Yeah.
See, there you go. Is that Latin blood? I don't know. If I'm offended,
Transmisión del capítulo. I forgot what it
And
is.
now I just realized. Oh fudge! Whitest guy on the panel right now.
What?
whoever said that was the whitest guy. I'm sorry.
Oh, seriously, in this particular instance, I am the token white guy.
No, this is pretty new for now.
It's like a Tyler Perry movie.
Jesus Christ.
Is that
Because when you
this
think
what
about
it? Is this how you what it feels like all the time, Sauron?
Oh my god! I
This is
just realized
crazy.
what that bottom thing says. Un baile gratis para todos los presentes. A free dance for all present. Holy shit!
It's, you know what?
From
This is
the
on the ball,
figurine,
right?
I assume.
Men's sports bar. I'm telling you, this. I would
This
not be
is the titty
surprised.
bar, dude.
Yeah, I'm about to say I would not be surprised
And
if
a
this took
free
place at
dance,
a
a
titty
free
bar.
dance for anybody who shows up. Holy shit!
Yo, you want to talk about peak entertainment? Imagine this.
Dude, I'd be going like, get that ass out of my face, bitch! I'm trying to watch Dragon Ball.
But just think about this. Think about this for a second. You're in a titty bar. Got ass and tits all around you. On the big screen is Goku versus Jiren. You got a woman in your lap. That is heaven.
Oh, and don't forget the booze.
And I forgot about the boobs.
Oh,
Like, that's literally, like, I don't know if it's heaven, but it's a form of heaven.
it's close.
There's some religion where that's the afterlife.
Valhalla.
I was not going to comment on that.
Valhalla 2. It's the updated version of Valhalla.
Oh, no, I mean, it wouldn't be Valhalla until a bar fight breaks out.
Yeah.
The bar fight is Goku versus Jiren.
No, the people in it have to be fighting. Otherwise, it ain't Valhalla.
Maybe it's okay.
Yeah,
Then
that's
how
true.
about would it be Nirvana then?
Nirvana's just becoming nothing.
It's Nirvana 2.0.
Nirvana's becoming everything and nothing.
I am everything and I am nothing.
One with the universe.
I am the universe.
I am my anus.
I am the Senate.
Not yet.
Oh, I got it. It's Elysium.
Yes.
Yeah,
That sounds about
It's,
right.
heaven,
Yeah,
it's heaven in Greek mythology.
It's
No,
the
you know what
nice
it
part
is?
of the underworld.
You know what it is? It's what's the afterlife in Skyrim?
Sovngarde.
Sovngarde.
It's Sovngarde because of all the mods.
When's the Thomas the Tank Engine Dragon gonna burst through the fucking roof?
All the way.
Get that. What about the Macho Man Dragon?
Oh, yeah.
Macho Man the Tank Engine Randy Savage Thomas.
Where are you, Dragonborn? You made a lot of promises to the Macho Man. I've come.
Oh yeah!
What have we become?
Good question.
The duality of man.
I've become drawing this picture Daddy Chan for the past hour. Badoop. Someone rebadooped. It is Salem who rebadooped.
Sorry guys, my headset died, so I had to have it charged for a while.
It's fine.
So tell me, what did I miss?
We rubbished Big Bang. We rubbished Big Bang Theory. Talked about how bad endings to good TV shows can ruin the experience, like case in point, Battlestar Galactica and Game of Thrones. And then I made the case that if any Pantera song belonged on the soundtrack for a Dragon Ball Z movie, it was 5 minutes alone. And then Alabaster found, I think it was Alabaster, he found these Latin American fight posters for Dragon Ball Z. Which special was this again?
It was for Super.
I bet you those looked cool.
Fucking weebs,
Yeah.
just look.
Yes.
And weaves. Okay, I'll.
Leave them. And I have to show these to Victor.
Second one's pretty cool.
Let's see here. Oh, dude, yes. These are awesome.
Finally, someone understands.
Dude, these are. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I love.
Second
oh,
one's
God.
pretty cool.
Dude, there needs to be a luchador anime. They need to
There
make
is.
that.
They had a luchador anime. Oh god, what was it?
Are we forgetting that Kaneko Kamen exists?
What exists?
Kamen? It's a manga and anime about intergalactic professional wrestlers.
I
Oh,
You guys
Muscle.
probably know it. You guys probably know it by its American name, Ultimate Muscle.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
I know
what
by
I'm talking about.
I know about it by Kanikumen, and I also know about like I think there's like one character in it that's like unironically a fucking Nazi.
oh god.
Oh yes.
Base Japan.
That's also
That
part
shit
2 of
got
JoJo's
kinda-
Bizarre Adventure.
That shit got pretty weird. Oh man. Here we go.
How am I supposed to respond?
I really don't know. I never could figure out how to respond to that.
Listen, man, Nazis.
There was a character in Kiinu Kamen. Whole gimmick was that he was a Nazi.
Like, he was a Nazi and he is a sympathetic character.
I did not see that coming.
Also,
Yeah, I
JoJo's
mean-
Bizarre Adventure Part 2. I actually liked Stroheim. I'll fucking say that. Stroheim was cool.
See, no one wants to admit that at the end of the day, the Nazis were still people. Assholes, sure, but still people.
I mean, there are people who.
Beyond asshole.
We're delving into territory that's making me tug at my
Yeah,
collar.
let's just move away from that.
Wait. It goes a little beyond asshole.
Listen, I know when the
Just by
Yeah, I mean, like,
miles.
is it bad? I mean, is it bad enough that Dylan's art gets our streams taken down?
Come to think of it, are we still on YouTube right now? Let me have a look.
Just is dead.
I give us-
We
I
didn't
give
give it
us-
up on YouTube.
I give us 5 more minutes.
You gotta check Twitch too.
Oh.
I don't think Deion's gonna like it. He comes back next week, and we're kicked off of both Twitch and YouTube.
What did you guys do?
We had Sauron on. That's what happened.
The ring of power was too much for anyone to handle.
I like how Dylan can kill streams with his pictures, and I can kill streams with my.
Oh,
words.
yeah.
Not so much.
It's like instead of putting on the ring to make you invisible, you just pull out the porn.
Well, because remember, when Sauron put on the ring, it did more than just. It didn't make him invisible. Literally, just made him beat the shit out of people. I'm beating the shit out of the stream.
I was talking about Dylan.
Oh. Yeah, Dylan's one of my Nazgul. He's the Witch King.
No, Dylan's
So
Frodo,
beggars the-
because he's the one.
No. The bigger. Here's what beggars the question: who is Sauron's Morgoth? We learned this from someone.
Well, technically,
People forget.
technically it'd be-
People forget this. Sauron had a master.
Listen, we don't talk.
Melkor.
I'm kidding.
Yes, we do.
Melkor, Morgoth, whatever you want to call him.
The same guy.
Boss.
So
In fact,
I'm really
he's
late
still
to the party.
around.
The Palpatine to my Vader.
I'm really late to the party, but I do want to say congratulations, Matt, on getting the IndieGoGo portion of the crowdfunding done.
Thanks, Yoda, and look,
Good job.
thanks to Alabaster, we're well on our way to getting the Kickstarter fulfilled.
I just want to say, Yoda, your thanks is too far, so I'm gonna have to say that it just doesn't count at this point.
Well, rip.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Okay, I just got a response. You just responded in the Weebs channel. This is amazing. It was everywhere. Toei even had to get in contact with the authorities for broadcasting it without permission.
Wow.
Well,
It was a pirate broadcast in Mexico.
Listen, man, his
Nar
family
har.
don't give a shit.
In response, Salem, I don't think the opinion of anyone who lives in Illinois matters.
You've got me
Whoa.
there. I'm not going to deny that.
So I reject your
Just call
assertion.
it Midwestern California. Let's just be honest here, okay?
What? I heard words.
Oh my god, it gets even better. Is anyone else seeing this?
I'm about to now.
It was everywhere to even
In weeps.
Not across the country yet.
It's about to be a weep night.
Yep.
City halls and town squares.
Nationwide pirate broadcast.
Oh, we got 3 days to do $100 more. Well, you know what?
If you're gonna do what I think you're gonna do,
Is he going? Is he?
it's hard to say, but I think we'll be.
Congratulations, you're funded.
Oh, thank you, Yoda.
Wow. Fuck.
Ah,
It is done.
It
Congratulations.
well,
And
well, here's the thing. We still had Duskquill to come in with to see if he can fund it with the physical version of the cameo, which would have placed us even further. But it's always appreciated.
Well, I backed both the
I,
IndieGoGo and the Kickstarter, so I'm happy with my contribution.
I
Oh,
think
same.
I think you and Elbaster are rivals in how much you've supported it.
I mean, simp.
Alabaster and I are
Alabaster
the-
wore that title with pride.
I think
Yes, I did.
so. Basically, you're Elphia's simps.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not a simp for Althea, I'm a simp for the Mythiverse.
Yeah.
I don't care about Althea, I care about the Mythiverse.
Ouch.
But I want somebody who sounds like
shit to me.
what I want.
I don't have any
is
champagne to pop.
I want.
I got whiskey! I got whiskey!
Oh God, give it to me.
Hey, Yoda. At least Dylan's not here.
True.
You said you had
Watch
whiskey,
him pop
you're
in.
not sharing it to me. What it gives.
Yoda,
I mean, if you want to come to Michigan and stop being a Neanderthal in Illinois, I'll share my whiskey.
Look, it's not
Ruined
my
your
choice,
guys.
I'm here,
That
okay?
I ruined Friday night for all three of you.
Oh
Okay.
God, that was unacceptable, Brett. That was honestly hurtful.
well, what do you expect Brett to do?
It
He's
was only good fun, and then you went too far.
I raise a
You did go
glass.
too far.
Congratulations on getting funded, Matt.
thanks.
Oh yeah.
Literally could not have done it without you and Albaster.
Well, you could have.
yeah, but it would have taken longer.
True.
You should have.
You might have needed an 11th hour funding push, so.
Yeah.
When you said, I thought you were gonna say like, that's true, and just completely like dismiss him.
Then again, we also have Tet who will push it into 200s territory.
He did that for the first one.
Second one too. The first Mythics issue 2, and then the first issue run, I believe he also did 200.
I remember for a while I was like, whenever I saw a project that was just like a couple bucks away, like a couple hundred, I would just drop it.
Hey, Brett, I think we have a community announcement to make here.
As if I'm not already on that.
Okay. I didn't see any typing until I brought it up, so
Or hear any.
sure.
Also, Leo could have taken it out quietly, like a stealth cat.
Are you
True.
saying I could have taken it out
I
quietly?
said
Leo.
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 Oh.
But no, he just would have though.
Cat.
Human.
Meow.
Oh God.
Imagine if your animals could talk. Legitimately.
In case anyone wants to know, how I ruined Friday night for Matt, Yoda, and Salem was I posted the "Wait, it's all Ohio" meme.
Oh, okay. I see. You tweeted it out first.
This is unacceptable. This is genocide against my people.
Illinois genocide.
Also, Brett, I don't see why you added me. There's 54 other people who backed the Kickstarter who you have to thank for getting it funded.
You gotta set the last, but you gotta just that last push.
Yeah, you got the last push.
All right. I guess I'll take it.
Ooh boy.
I will not be getting drunk though. I just poured myself a little bit of whiskey in celebration.
Oh,
Which I
Oh,
is it also partially because Dylan might show up and just start making jokes.
oh, fuck. No, if he shows up, I might actually get drunk just so I can deal with it.
Listen, I need someone to get drunk with me, alright? Someone. At least one.
Oh, that would be Salem and Xavier.
I haven't had I had a little bit of whiskey for the 4th, but I haven't actually had a lot lately because I just haven't had any money. Because coronavirus means no working Salem.
Yep.
Okay, then that leaves Xavier. Then you got to go with Xavier. He's our functional alcoholic.
I'm pretty functional too. I just can't afford to be drunk right now. Send your funds to the Make Salem Drunk Again Foundation.
Or we can just do apps in the chat.
I like the other idea better.
I like the idea that gets me drunk.
there we go. Yeah.
So Gaddy Chan is done then?
It's not done yet. There's still more for me to do. I don't think... I think there's more. I'm just letting my surface cool down.
Right.
Because I want to finish rendering, and then after that, I'm gonna shrink her a little bit, put in the grass, and put in the dough on me.
So
maybe I'll do a drawing later that says no step on snack.
Oh, Nubble, by the way, I showed your...
That was the reaction that I found that Babe's mom was reacting to.
Oh.
If you go onto Brett's Twitter, my image as to what Maeve's mom was reacting to, it was, don't step on snack.
No step. No step.
Didn't know Maeve's mom was a libertarian, Brett.
Now, I had this thought just now. You know what we should do? Is we should recreate that meme, but it's because we're all, Mythoverse and mythology and stuff. We should use, like, Jormungand or something.
Use what?
Jormungand. The serpent?
Oh, Jormungand?
Yeah. Did I say it wrong?
Sometimes you say the R, sometimes you don't. It's a little weird.
Listen, I'm American.
Wait. Why are we talking about R's? Because normally when we're talking about that, we're talking about something.
Well, sometimes the Great World Serpent has a hard R, and sometimes it doesn't.
Oh my God.
Okay, there's no... I wasn't doing it.
outside myself because it's like
I don't think either one of us got on air expecting to have both the IndieGoGo and the Kickstarter funded on the same day.
No, but we
I'll be
did.
right back.
Yeah.
It's like we expected to keep having to, we expect to have to keep trudging along and just hope for a miracle at the last minute, man.
This is the first time we've gotten a campaign funded all before the last day.
And you still have 3 more days to make more money.
Yep, for on Kickstarter and
Technically a month for IndieGoGo.
Yep. I've got it set for in demand. So the moment it goes to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the cameo tiers and keep it up for another month.
Cool.
There's really no sense in keeping it open for months on end, just for probably a handful of other people joining in.
This is true.
Also, I noticed that in demand tends to delay the process, so
Yeah. So, and please tell me you just messaged Beth about this.
I'm about to right now. That's the reason why I haven't tweeted it out yet.
So, Sexy Theo cameo, yeah? I'm expecting it now.
Are you simping again?
He's simping his own character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to say earlier, what I want more than anything, I want somebody in our group who can make a good Homer Simpson impression and make the
But Mark!
He's yelling, Simp!
Simp!
That is really something I would expect from Dylan, man.
By the way, Neville, I showed your Founding Father chants to some of my high school friends who took AP US History with me, and they loved it. So, congratulations.
There's more to come.
Oh, I'm excited.
Lots and lots more.
I've actually been, I decided to take a little detour a little bit and start working on I think you've seen it in the artist alley. I've been working on Gaddy-chan. She's a anime girl form of the Gadsden snake.
Okay.
No step on snack.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay, hang on. I gotta find this now. I have to find this.
I'm not quite done yet.
Oh, hang on. I need to screenshot. Hang on. I need to save this. Copy link. I need to save that one to the archive, which is just my PMs with you.
Oh, that's right.
Because
I did not send you. I didn't directly send you Patrick Henry Chan.
It's fine. I still haven't actually saved them to my PC.
well,
That's hilarious, Neville.
Speaking of the no step on snack, check Careers Club.
Check what?
Careers Club.
What about Creator Club?
No, Kirby.
Aha! No Curb the Irby. I love that.
No, Kirby.
Featuring the meme mech of Battletech.
The trash man. It's garbage. Oh my god. Great.
no curves here.
Hang on a sec, I need to post a fun thing real quick.
Oh my goodness.
If you'll just check the Creator Club.
Plan for
No, I don't think
Halos
so.
the Chans.
With the way you're laughing, I'm
There's a
not.
couple of, I'm
I'm
on doing.
completely joking about this. The cameo I have planned is a different character
You know what?
that will actually like make sense and not be stupid.
Ah, damn it!
And then there's Neville.
Where are you bummed out, Neville?
He saw what I posted and is disappointed in me.
No, I was disappointed that this wasn't the cameo you wanted. That'd be hilarious.
I know it would be. Well, I technically have 2 cameos, so.
Well, maybe a Mythoverse version of Playgirl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where's this posted? Where's this posted?
It's in Creator Club.
Creator Club.
Okay, you said Playboy, so I was like,
No,
gotta
Playgirl.
see. Ooh.
I might need a little more alcohol for this. Maybe I will get Crazy Star
Stop
on.
rubbing it in.
I do not have.
You're in Illinois, your opinion doesn't matter, Salem.
I do not have alcohol in him.
I-
I do have root beer.
Oh god.
I hate this state. Get me out.
No, you're quarantined there.
You're in here with me now. We got 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Oh, playtime!
Oh,
so he's ready?
I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Oh, God.
Come on, no. Come on,
Speaking
no
of-
one caught that.
No,
No, what?
I'm
I was
not
about to
trapped.
say- I was
I'm
gonna
not
say,
trapped.
like, speaking of Rorschach, I
Yeah.
heard about that Tom King Rorschach book coming out.
Yeah, oh yeah, that broke Salem's heart. That broke Salem.
I'm not
Yo,
sure that we're gonna
you
be
heard-
dealing with,
I'm sorry. What was that? I didn't hear you.
Tom
Sorry,
King
guys. I
from
didn't hear
Rorschach.
that.
Here's a
It's-
better. Okay, here's the question.
Salem is
Which-
about
which
Rorschach
cause-
by Tom King.
Wait,
Here's a question. Here's a
Wait,
question.
wait,
Which
guys.
caused Salem more
One
heartbreak?
second. I can't
My
hear
Ohio
anything.
Hey guys, Brett, he can't hear anything.
No, correct him. That's him.
Yeah, it's
Who
depressing.
said it? I can barely hear you.
Okay, now I can hear everyone else, but for some reason Brett is like really quiet.
That's
Okay.
verse.
Here's a question. Which caused Salem more heartbreak? My Ohio meme or finding out that Tom King was doing a Rorschach book?
Well, see, the Ohio meme was done in good fun. Tom King's book is just a crime against humanity.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So is he
Yeah,
gonna make
got
these?
it.
Oh god.
Is he gonna make it like getting ditched on his wedding day the reason why Rorschach doesn't like women?
Oh yeah, that was what it was. He was announced for. He was announced for Rorschach.
I'm really.
I got that reference.
Rorschach is like my all-time favorite hero, and
Don't ask questions.
I'm-
Just consume product and get excited for next product.
I'm so scared what he's gonna end up doing to Rorschach.
I mean, we all have a pretty good idea. PTSD! PTSD!
We've seen what he's done
ATSD.
to we've seen what he's done to Mr. Miracle. We've seen what he's done to Batman. So I mean, like, it's a good chance that we kind of know what's coming.
Remember when comics were dramatic because of the peril that the hero had gotten into that particular issue, and not interpersonal relationship bullshit?
Yeah,
But
remember,
that was-
Remember when
that was
superheroes fought
what-
crime?
Oh, come on. That was what sold people on Marvel Comics, though, because it's like everyone liked Spider-Man because everyone could relate to Peter Parker.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could argue that they knew the line. You can tell they were trying to keep the problems be more universally understandable, as opposed to just the writer being like, "My life sucks. Let me vent through this comic."
You are
True.
paying to be my therapist.
If nothing else, the writer was like, "These are my life experiences. Let me transfer them to this character." Not in the sense of
No.
like, not in the sense of like everything I went through, this character went through, but just in the general like, oh, I've had some shitty times, so let me try to, you know, put it as if this character was going through something similar, but not to the point where it's so specifically my problems.
But then again, it's like, okay, I can point to 2 examples where that was done, and it was done actually quite well. One was The Crow, the other was Rags.
Well, if you want to put this in this way, I think Peter Parker was supposed to be Stan Lee as when he was younger, because of how much Peter Parker meant to him as a character. I mean, the guy was still running the Spider-Man newspaper strip until a few months before his death.
Now, to elaborate on my point, does anyone know the backstory to the Crow comic?
Vaguely.
I just keep hearing a meow.
No.
Hold up, I got this covered. Come here, you.
I thought it was. The reason why I brought it up because I thought it was someone saying it.
Isn't this like the 500th time Brett's mentioned the Crow?
No.
I love. That's like my favorite movie of all time. Okay, but here, okay, the thing with the Crow. So far, that comic after the death of his girlfriend, and she died in a drunk driving accident, and this was his way of trying to process that grief.
Like, don't get me wrong. I feel the best. I won't say the best. I feel like it's natural for a writer to take their life experiences and transfer some of them into the characters, you know, to make them a bit more relatable. But I think the good ones know the fine line of making verbatim their own and versus just taking the general concept. Like
Then of course you got what Brian did with Rags. It's like the big story arc is Regina getting over her PTSD.
yeah, like for example, like say for like just to have a broad example, like relationship problems. Most people have relationships. However,
Everyone's
that
got
doesn't mean
relationship problems.
That's what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying. It's not like let's say all of us have. I'm not because I don't want to speak for everybody, but let's say 5 of us have relationship problems. That doesn't mean all 5 of us have the very same problems of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the good writers do. It's like, all right, average people have relationship problems, but I'm not going to take my problems and verbatimly put them on the character. I'm going to try to, make it unique or something.
I think there's something about like the difference that there's a distinction Tolkien made about like allegory and actually incorporating thematic ideas into your stories. It's like he made the distinction between a 1-for-1 comparison and applicability. It's better if your story is applicable to someone's experience than a 1-for-1 telling of a single situation that happened a single time to a single person.
And I think also bring up like at least where Rags is concerned, like the point. Remember Brian telling this to me, and I think anyone who's read Rags probably picked up on this as well. Brian told me was that he was trying to illustrate the experience veterans have when dealing with PTSD. Like that's part of why Regina's naked through most of it, because he said that when veterans come back from war, they feel very naked and vulnerable most of the time.
They also feel like
listening to what you say, but I love the interjections of a cat.
No.
I was about to say, speaking of
Thanks for undercutting the. Thanks for.
I believe a kitten is screaming at you.
Having the seriousness of my words, Leo. Thank you.
You know what's happening? You know what's happening? Leo is interjecting his own personal experiences to the chat.
He's like, I've seen some shit, man, and some things, and some
Leo,
shit.
Leo's had PTSD. He knows what he's talking about.
Oh. Let me tell you about the time I served in the Great Cat.
Hey, maybe he was one of the cats of Ulthar.
I don't.
He's only 5 months old.
I don't
Yeah, he's the little kitten that what's his face? Randall Carter saved.
I don't want to think about it. There was cat litter and boxed wine everywhere, and there was some lady who was giving me a lecture on who I should vote for.
PTSD. PTSD.
Don't worry, just think about the whiskey I'm enjoying right now, Salem.
You suck. You suck.
I know. I'm also, I think, becoming slightly inebriated. I'm on my third small glass.
What else?
Oh my god, you're a lightweight.
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
but to bring it back to the Rorschach thing, I think the reason why stuff like The Crow and Rags ends up succeeding, and this thing with Rorschach is, I don't want to declare it doomed to fail because it's not out and I haven't read it. It's the reason why the deck is stacked against it, in my opinion, is because Rorschach is already an established character. People have an idea of what to expect from him. As with
do, but like it depends on when this story.
I am going to have to bow out. So later, guys.
Later, Bunny.
Later.
Bye, Bunny.
I think it really depends on where the story takes place. Oh well, when. Because like, I know. Because I
remember in the story he talked about how he. I remember in the original Watchmen. Sorry, I just remembered in the Watchmen comic that it was when he was in prison and he was being interviewed by that shrink, and he talked about one of the first cases he did as Rorschach and how that just affected him and shaped his outlook.
It never worked.
That is one of my favorite.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like
that's like one of my favorite scenes, or I don't know what you want to call it. One of my favorite bits in any comic I've ever read.
But what I was saying is that because I know aside from the original, there's not really much extra material. I know they did like the before Watcher, but I don't know. I never read them, so I don't know how accurate they are. They're even still considered. And as far as I know, thanks to Doomsday Clock, isn't the Watchmen universe now the rest of the DC universe now?
Pretty much, and I've read all the books before Watchmen. They weren't bad. They were better than what more put together.
So, but I'm like, because technically we don't know when this story is going to take place. As far as we know, it could be a story solely to introduce the new Rorschach into the DC universe, or it could be featuring, the original Rorschach or whatever. There's no telling.
And
honestly, because they've played with the Watchmen too much and have really ruined what made them special, in my opinion, with all these expansions. I just keep to the original graphic novel, and I consider that canon, and everything else to just be a bunch of BS. That's my personal opinion. But then again, I hold Watchmen in such a high regard because of Rorschach. So
yeah,
I'm going to be disappointed no matter what, pretty much, unless it's Alan Moore touching Rorschach. I don't have confidence that people are going to know what Rorschach is all about. I mean, it was more obvious than ever that people have lost sight of what Rorschach is supposed to represent in the HBO series.
I don't even know what the hell.
Like the HBO series is like, what the hell were you? Like, what the actual hell were you thinking? Like, there's so much weird with that show. I'm convinced that it was never meant to be a Watchmen. It was meant to be something else, and then they were like, well, we have to want to repeat for this.
that's probably what happened.
I didn't mean to go on a tirade there. It really bugs me. It's like they have no respect for Rorschach. Because
See,
like
the way you feel about Watchmen is how I feel about Predator. So I understand at least on the concept.
Well, a lot of the people that have no respect for these titles also don't have respect for Western civilization, family, like the actual concept of a family.
And the ironic part here is that Alan Moore, he's an anarcho-communist, but the thing is, he never let his beliefs become soapboxes for his characters. And the whole deal with Rorschach is to be someone who is unhinged, but Alan Moore, at least through his world building, it makes you understand why an unhinged character like that would come into existence. So even though that you're not supposed to necessarily aspire to be like Rorschach,
But I do.
But I'm saying you can understand where he comes from. But at the same time, I mean, there's a big part of me that wants to be like Rorschach in some ways. But I mean, the whole point of Rorschach from Alan Moore was to show that when you're impulsive on black and white logic, you can make some mistakes that you are going to have to bear for the rest of your life. But at the same time, he shows the positive to it, in which while everyone's pretty much just twiddling their thumbs, Rorschach actually makes progress within the story.
Yeah, and he's like the only one who genuinely is just like, no, I'm not gonna keep silent about this travesty.
He's the only one that has a moral compass that actually is followed to any degree.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's not even that he doesn't compromise him. He could compromise him a little and still be kind of leagues beyond the other characters, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, and but the point of his character is to show that there is negatives and positives of the approach Rorschach takes, because literally that's the best part of that entire of Watchmen, is that each character has good and bad things regarding the way that they approach the plot and the conflicts. You know, that's the awesome thing about Alan Moore is he writes it, like the characters seem incredibly believable given the world that he creates around them. Like, it doesn't seem like they're all, just have bipolar brains. It's like they're living, breathing, complex human beings. Sorry, once again, I kind of took over.
What, you mean characters are able to be... You mean characters are able to have more depth than being pure hero or pure villain?
Yeah,
impossible.
That's something that Alan Moore gets done really well, because the thing is, like, his what was it? Here, 1 second. It was trying to. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. I must be tired. His other big comic that he's known for.
So it's by Alan Moore.
1 second.
Did he do V for Vendetta?
Yes,
he did.
That's exactly it. V for Vendetta. I can't believe you got the name of that. I must be getting tired. But I mean, like, even with the character of V, the thing is, like, in the film adaptation of that, you really root for V. But if you guys have read the graphic novel, V does quite a few things that make you question if he's taking the right approach to the situation. Like, he actually lives up to the title terrorist, whereas in the film, he kind of portrays him as like being a Robin Hood kind of hero. Whereas in the book, you are really left to scratch your head and ask if what he's doing is justified. And I think it's because Alan Moore purposefully did that, because he really wanted to challenge people on some of the things that he was bringing up.
I remember catching an interview where Alan Moore was talking about V for Vendetta, and he said, like, the thing that he set out to do with
the fascists of that fictional England he made was that he wasn't portraying them as like one-dimensional Nazis or he wasn't trying to make them outright villains. He was showing that they were ordinary people who had just made the wrong choice to do, and to portray them as straight up evil would just be insulting to the reader.
And I think that the film also took some, because the film is, in my opinion, incredibly excellent. But it is a different take on V for Vendetta, and I do think that the villains, the antagonists, were more inspired by 1984 than they were the actual antagonists from the graphic novel.
I thought they were trying to make the movie about the Bush administration.
Ooh boy.
Yeah, which I gotta say, not a fan of the Bushes, but saying that it's about the Bushes, I think that if that was their goal, they may have been over exaggerating a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And once again, this is coming from somebody who's not a fan of the Bushes, and quite honestly, I think 99% of America isn't either. So it seems odd that if that was the I can't
Chaskeys.
the twins if that was their goal, think that they may have gone a little overboard.
Although I can see the a little bit of the 1984 influence there, especially considering they got John Hurt in the movie. And like, does anyone know that John Hurt was in a film adaptation in 1984?
I was thinking of it more as the screen in which God, I can blink on the names. The screen in which the leader of England was on. What was his name? I'm sorry.
There.
John Hurt.
No, the character's name.
Oh,
Thinking of Big Brother.
I'm thinking of Big Brother, but I'm talking about the character in V for Vendetta.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea.
There, shit.
That's an IMDb question right there.
Well, anyways, like when you look at him on the big screen, yeah, it's like it's very, very much like Big Brother imagery. Big Brother is always watching you kind of thing. So to me, yeah, it seems like they were taking more influence from 1984 than they were the actual graphic novel.
Right, because from what I remember about the movie, I don't remember them taking a particularly nuanced approach to the British fascists. Like, I remember them being more like straight up bad guys. Then again, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I may be looking at it wrong.
I haven't seen the movie in like over a decade, I think.
Because even though that the religious authoritarianism was something that V for Vendetta, the graphic novel, addressed, I think that they went a little. I think they went way more into it in the film than they did the actual graphic novel. Because
which, for the time, is hardly surprising.
It's but I just the thing is, it's like I don't, because I actually really like the film. I've got it on Blu-ray, but it is just a completely different story than the one that Alan Moore was telling.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I really like Watchmen and V for Vendetta.
Right.
That's fine.
I might have gotten that impression.
I'm back.
Might explain why I'm very opinionated too.
Yep.
Listen, man, I get your pain. I'm the exact same way when it comes to Predator stuff. I just know what that's. Can't say like specifically for the same character. I get what you're. You just want a good actor. That's all you want. I'm tired of people butchering the stories and stuff. Character.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I've just come to expect it when somebody says, "Oh, we're rebooting this." I'm like, "Oh, you mean you're ruining that?"
I think what doesn't help V for Vendetta and Watchmen, they are like, not to say anything against them, but they are essentially the quintessential definitions of deconstruction story.
Yeah, but that was when the thing is that was when people are actually using postmodernism for what it was supposed to be meant to do, which was because believe it or not, I mean I've got a big bone to pick with postmodernism nowadays, but believe it or not, postmodernism is about making something new. It's not just deconstruction.
It's questioning
postmodernism,
traditional narratives and seeing
it's
if they
just
still hold up, basically.
well, postmodernism. You're supposed to take it apart, but then you're supposed to reanalyze the pieces you have. You throw out the pieces that are outdated, but you still use the pieces that are in a good shape. So let's say the foundation, and you build something new on top of that.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be making something new from what you take apart. But a lot of people nowadays, they just take it apart and they say, "My work here is done." I mean, the way that I've been describing it is the way that postmodernism is used nowadays. It's as if I said, "I've got a leak in my house," and I called someone up to fix the leak. The guy came over and bulldozed my whole house, and they said the leak's gone. And I'm like, "Well, where's my house?" And then they're like, "Oh, you don't like that, but the leak is gone." And it's like that doesn't you tore down my house. Yeah, that's the analogy I use. It's not what that's not what postmodernism is supposed to be. Yet this is what they've turned it into.
yeah, because like I feel like everyone wants because to be when you think about it, huh? Because when you make a deconstruction, when you do it well, you you automatically make yourself stand out all of the story genre, and so I feel like that's what a lot of writers claim. They don't necessarily care about the deconstruction of a story they love. They simply want to reckon comes from someone who usually constructs stories. Because like
That's sorry. Go
a good
ahead.
example is simply like Ryan. Like I didn't know I can't remember who I talked to. When it comes to the Last Jedi and stuff, and I keep talking about. It's like a good example of someone who really just wants to deconstruct the popular story without really caring what really formed, what established. Because I'm the firm believer that the only way the Last Jedi could truly work for somebody, and this is my opinion. If you like the Last Jedi, whatever, like it. I'm not taking that with. But for me, I feel like the only way you can truly enjoy the Last Jedi is you have to literally ignore or hate everything that came before that movie. And so, like, to me, it goes against what deconstruction should be, where it's like you deconstruct the story, but in a way that pays homage, not so much just terror. But I feel a lot of deconstruction stories do care about it, or they just create something new because it's the popular thing to do.
Honestly, I mean, like, if you want to see a good deconstruction, just read Daredevil Born Again. That's how you do it. That entire story arc, Frank Miller is deconstructing just Daredevil. He's deconstructing Matt Murdock, and he builds him back up.
And that's the big thing. That's supposed to be the piece that makes postmodernism work, but people refuse to take that extra step because, in my opinion, I think that if they acknowledge that something can be fixed, then they're acknowledging that it's not flawed to begin with, and quite a few people don't want to have that message spread across. They want to say that everything before them is completely flawed and it must be thrown out.
I could go into a whole rant about that kind of thing.
It's not that it's not flawed. It's more like acknowledging that that the flaws are there, but the flaws, more importantly, can be overcome.
Yeah, and that's the thing is people are saying nowadays that certain actions and people are just irredeemable.
Oh,
And
Which, to be fair, like
that's not
that
what
argument can be made.
but not
it's
for
not what
everything.
It's just that's not what. Because the thing is, it's like I shit on postmodernism all the time, but the thing is, if it's actually, it's because it's not because I think it's bad. It's because of just how poorly it's misused. But the thing is, it's been misused so much that I would argue that it kind of has changed the meaning of what postmodernism is, and therefore I'm kind of like, yeah, postmodernism kind of sucks.
I mean,
Well,
like,
because there's never a reconstruction phase after the deconstruction.
hell, even I mean, dude, and Metal Gear Solid 2 understood this. I mean, like, it puts that runs right in through the ringer, but and through so much of the game, he's questioning himself: Am I even making my own choices? Then at the end of the game, after he has that little heart-to-heart with Snake, Raiden realizes, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna make my own choices. But that's all that matters because they're my choices and I made them. I can decide my fate for myself.
Are you saying that it's my life and it's now or never?
Oh God.
Does anyone seriously? Does nobody remember the part? Like your Solid 2 where Ryan was having a mental breakdown just because he wasn't sure he was in control of his own choices? I don't want to play that game, am I? Aren't I?
What game are we talking about? I've been zoned out for the last 5 minutes.
No, you're Solid 2.
Never played it.
I played it, but it's been a long time.
We're talking about Takeshi's Challenge. Have you beaten it?
Real moments.
Here it's amazing when the famous purple stuff form in Flapjaw space with a tuning fork does a raw blink on Harakiri Rock.
As it does.
Caesar 61.
I have no idea what anyone's saying. Maybe I drank too much.
Like I said, if you play Metal Gear Solid 2, that makes sense.
Quit rubbing it in.
Drink more, it'll start making sense.
I mean, sure.
I really
And
thought you were gonna say sure. You were like, I mean, and you just were silent. I was like, he's dead. He just died.
Who's silent? Who died?
You, because you were like, I mean, and then there was just this long period of silence that seemed longer than it should have been, and I was just like,
Yeah, I had a heart attack and died. I'm the ghost of James Stern talking to you now.
when I say
Fear
die,
me.
when I say
I'm here to
die,
haunt you.
When I say die, I'm speaking from like term of someone passes out drunk and we're just like, oh, he's dead.
Oh. I am the ghost of James Stern. I am here to haunt you all forever. You will never be rid of me now.
Welcome.
I don't get why ghosts in movies are such. If I was a ghost, I'd just be.
How would you know?
Haunting people.
How would you know what you would do if you were a ghost?
Well, I know what I would do.
I'm pretty sure
Be
I would.
dead?
No, I would possess a Russian hacker and hack something for real, and it would make the story actually true for once.
Suka Blitz.
But the question is, would you have access to that Russian hacker skills, or would you have to have your own hacker skills beforehand?
Well, I'm already hacking a human body. I think I'm
How hard could it? Maybe you should just straight up possess the computer.
What if that was how it worked? What if ghosts were just
I have
possessed.
Russian hacker. Now I shall continue by buying 40,000 Facebook ads,
No,
which
what happens
somehow equates to election interference.
I will.
Oh man, imagine. Oh god, imagine if
Child
Ginger
will-
was on the panel right now.
She'd probably be very insulted.
She'd be
Imagine this, though.
laughing.
Imagine this, though. So,
But Salem, would you want to give up whiskey for vodka, though?
Oh heck no!
But picture this.
Oh
So
god!
you're a ghost.
Whoever likes vodka, they need to be checked into an insane asylum.
Well, if you possess a Russian hacker, you're
Europe,
gonna have
dude.
to do that, though. You're gonna have to give up whiskey for vodka.
Russians do make whiskey.
Most of Eastern Europe loves vodka, Salem.
Yeah, but they make whiskey there too.
Like,
I have
it's a
seen
thing.
some Polish I have seen some Polish whiskeys on the store shelf.
Not saying I don't believe it, it's just, Slavs and vodka. Peanut butter and jelly.
Well, I think it's because it's so prevalent there that most people that's their first and usually only drink, so they don't know any better.
Just if you seriously say you like vodka, I will get you a straitjacket. We will get you help, okay?
Listen.
I like it, but it's not as good as pretty much anything else. I mean, I'll admit.
I am a certified.
If you like that
US
nation,
sailor.
why don't you go move to it?
I'm a certified U.S.
I don't like
all food.
Russia.
Certified what, Sauron?
I'm a certified former U.S. sailor. I love all forms of liquor wherever they come. I do not discriminate.
So,
I discriminate.
so we're
I
talking Japanese sake?
Oh God, I spent 2 years in Japan, man. Sake was my.
Oh, heated plum sake. Oh, so good.
Hot sake on a cold winter night.
Are we still streaming? I think
Yeah.
we're an hour late.
Yeah, we're going a half hour after.
It's all good.
God.
Listen, people in the audience, if you're still there, you haven't left from all the. Let me tell you this.
Leave.
If you get the chance.
Leave.
Next winter, when it's nice and cold outside, if it gets cold where you
Leave.
go to whatever Japanese restaurant you can, get yourself a nice hot sake,
And
just
leave.
Let it fill you.
I think Neville wants to leave.
Listen, this is an important lesson for all people to learn.
Yes. The lesson is leave.
Leave with a belly full of hot sake.
But tequila, Sauron.
Tequila,
Well, I'd like to propose a toast to whatever you have to drink if you have
It
it.
is
To
tequila is
that.
it's a very mixed feeling for me, because like I like it, but it is not my good. It's gotta be like I'm with a group of friends, literally do not care, and someone else already.
Already know that Yoda's discovered his fondness for pairing wine with steak.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's not a particular fondness. I just, in general, like wine, and I tried pairing it with steak, and it wasn't awful. So
Dude, there's some restaurants you go to that's like you order and you order juicy steak, you just sit.
You guys are making me depressed because I want whiskey so bad.
I'm pretty sure that
tasty whiskey.
Salem is so desperate for alcohol right now. He would take a Pabst Blue Ribbon right now.
No.
He's not that desperate.
He's like, I have standards, man.
commercials with like the "In the Arms of the Angels." We're just gonna make a commercial for that, except it's gonna be a sober
just-
Salem.
It's just a montage of Salem having any whiskey, and then what's her name, Sarah McLaughlin, is gonna be holding him, cradling him. It's like
Is the stream still on?
this.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then I'm not gonna
It's
get
going
food.
to
Man has
end.
no whiskey.
It
And
never ends, Neville. That's the
and-
Oh,
secret.
damn it!
And Neville got killed by a witch.
Don't you see? We got funded. We have to turn this into a 24-hour stream now.
No, we
I,
don't.
okay, no, I have to. I love. I chortle at the fact that Salem is not desperate enough to have a Pabst Blue Ribbon, and even though Sauron said, "I do not discriminate against any alcohol," he does. Not even he wants Pabst.
Which, speaking of, I could totally stream Dead by Daylight if we want to do that soon. Do that 24-hour stream. Go insane.
Would be fun. That would probably be fun. So, okay, so do you have anything to add to my point, Sauron?
Which one?
And though you said you don't discriminate against alcohol, not even you want a Pabst.
Listen, so I'm the kind of person, I generally just skip all beers and. So I'm not a fan of most beers because to me, most beers they taste awful, and they don't get me drunk. Like, I'm just gonna go for the hard liquor, which usually has a taste, or at least I can combine it with taste. To be at least drunk or faster.
I've grown really fond of German beers, lagers specifically. I mean, usually I'm an ale person, but
Speaking of, well, not as a mead, have any of you ever heard of a drink? What's it called? Viking's blood.
I think I've seen a commercial for that.
Jesus Christ! So this was one of the few.
Mead?
drinks- it is a mead. It was one of the few drinks that I had where I legitimately just could not. It was one of the drinks where I was just like, "Holy shit, what is this?" It took me time to adapt. So a friend of mine, he was hardcore in this stuff. Like, he kept telling me about, kept trying to get me to go out and buy it. So finally, one day I went to a liquor store, found it, bought it, and I was like, "All right, this better be good." I took it, I poured it, and he told me, "You can just drink it. There's no reason to mix it." Like, okay. I drank that shit, and I thought I was gonna. It was good, but just it was so strong in terms of taste. And I was just like, what the hell is these people drinking? Is this literally what the Vikings be drinking? Holy shit. No wonder they were like so hard. No wonder Thor was God. Don't get me wrong, it was good.
I watched. Speaking of the Old Norse, I watched a clip of a show that had William Shatner, George Foreman, and some other celebrities, age celebrities who went around the world trying new stuff. One of them was, I think, canned herring from Sweden. There were only two people that were able to eat it: William Shatner and George Foreman.
And wow.
And they both went for seconds. Everyone else just said, "No way in hell am I touching that."
Well,
We are weak. The children will not survive.
Yeah, like I said, no matter what our opinions on alcohol, we all seem pretty unanimous. Death before Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I will say one thing. I will say one thing. I will say there is one exception to that. And it is if you can get Pabst on tap with a lime and with a shot of Jack in it, then it becomes tolerable.
Basically, if you combine it with two better things, it comes.
Yeah, sounds like it.
it's basically what you said. If you take this shitty drink and combine it with two more powerful, better tasting things, it becomes tolerable.
Well, some things are just so bad that they're not tolerable at all. Like, I'm sorry, I would take Pabst over Bud Light.
Ugh.
I hate Bud Light.
So, speaking of things that are intolerable, you know what else just sucks no matter where you go?
Anita Sarkeesian.
Wow,
I was gonna say close, but I was gonna say break room coffee.
Oh no, dude, those are awesome. Well,
You
then
know-
again, I usually slip whiskey into mine. So
You know, there's a restaurant in Kalamazoo called Bilbo's, which is a Middle Earth themed pizza place, and they have
Oh,
the,
Bilbo's?
go.
yeah, Bilbo's, and
You just triggered.
I know, have it, but they brew their own beer. So I think one of these days I'll probably go on a road trip up there, see what it's like.
Take me with you, Matt.
He's gonna go on.
Guys said,
I
like,
want to go so bad.
And, well, I've been there once. It was not the location with the brewed beer, but but it's basically like I decorated like a hobbit hole, and you're greeted by a full-size portrait of Bilbo Baggins.
That's awesome.
So I stand by what I said. Has anyone?
Oh, sorry. I just want to ask. So, a Hobbit hidey hole is a real thing?
If only it was made into a hole. April.
Sorry,
I would have said I don't care where you've ever worked. Break room the coffee at your workplace's break room just sucks. That's just a fact.
Well, it's kind of an art to get it to be truly terrible. You need it.
Oh, Neville's got the best one. Neville's got the best one.
So when I mean, only one other person is watching. So anyway, when I worked at the post office processing center, they had a coffee machine there, which is an immediate red flag to me, and everything about this coffee machine suggested that this thing has been in the office, or this thing has been in the processing center longer than most of the people have worked there. And I suspect the coffee was that old too. This thing was so...
Pool noodles at you?
It did not throw pool noodles at me, but it was caked in it's caked in dust from the frickin' 80s.
Oh.
There's no way that coffee machine has been refilled since Ronald Reagan was alive.
See, some people call that flavor.
I have
Parasite.
heard people refer to their unwashed coffee. There's some people who apparently don't wash their coffee mugs, and they have the audacity to refer to the buildup of coffee stain on their cup as a patina. Leather gets a patina. That's just dirty.
Some people don't wash their cast iron skillet, and ugh, I don't get that.
Why don't they clean the stuff that they use? What kind of heathens are they?
I mean, cast iron skillets are different.
I'm gonna assume that all the duty stations you had back in the Navy could at least make decent coffee, right, Sauron?
No.
No.
Well, seriously?
See,
Why would you assume they could?
Why?
Gain a tolerance.
It's just like that quote from F is for Family. I assumed you would be happy. Never ever assume that.
Well,
So you gain a tolerance for bad coffee, right?
Yes. There's a song where it's like, what do you call it? The cadences when we march. They have songs that you. Excuse me. and one of the lyrics, the coffee, it tastes like mud. It looks like muddy water. It tastes like turpentine. And it's because like the coffee is just there to keep you awake. It's not there to taste good. It's not there to bring you any kind of joy in life. It is just there so you can stay awake for 24 hours.
My dad
I'm
was
sorry,
in the
12 hours because we're not allowed to stay for, even though that's.
My dad was in the military, and he said coffee was just nice because it was something other than water to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's depressing. Not even the Navy can get you decent coffee.
Why would you think they could?
All the good shit's in the Air Force, dude. Everybody knows that.
Why do you?
Sure, that's a good point. The Air Force has the good stuff. The Air Force has the good everything.
Don't you remember?
The Air Force has people to clean up after them after they've had lunch.
Hey, Brett, you remember that meme with all the meals from each service?
Yes, I do, actually.
Yeah, so why did you think that be the one... why do you think it'd be anyone other than Air Force?
I don't know. Maybe for some reason, I imagine the military knew how to make good coffee.
The answer is no.
Just the Air Force.
Listen, the military. Let's this way. There's nothing good in the military. You just learn to appreciate. There's nothing good in the military. You just learn to appreciate.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like that's why you see a lot of veterans who just don't get it, because they know things could be. So how are you okay with this? It's like, trust me, it could be a lot worse.
You could be drinking the cabs.
No, it's like I've seen it.
First.
Oh.
I think we're getting to the point where we should probably call this stream.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Alright, guys, where can people find you?
We've taken this thing as far as we can. I'll plug in the IndieGoGo and the Kickstarter one more time before we knock off. Again, it is I'm just overjoyed that we pulled this off, especially considering that either Matt or I went on tonight's show expecting to get this far.
Well, we've got great careers working with us.
Yeah, congratulations, Matt.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you're all welcome for getting that funded.
Just that it's just like we have some truly loyal friends, and I absolutely mean that. Some people that I would consider, that I would not just consider coworkers and colleagues, but friends as well in our corner.
Also, yes, thank you, Yoda, for donating all $2,000.
Yes, I know. I know. I didn't need to do that much, but hey, anything to help out the Mythiverse.
Yoda, is your last name De Medici?
I don't speak weeb, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry. I was speaking pasta.
Oh, you were... I don't speak pasta either.
Oh.
The only pasta I speak is Sergio Leone.
Okay.
That's the only pasta I speak.
So you're not a Medici.
I don't know what that means. No.
Medici's. They were the patrons of the Renaissance.
The only pasta I know is from Assassin.
Mamma mia. Alright.
It's you adore the French.
So you can find the Mythiverse on... Well, shit, we can put all this information in the description or some shit.
No.
Well, Brett's been... I'm putting up links, and why don't you guys let everyone know where they can find you?
Yes, please.
Alright, at PNIE DERBRACH on Twitter.
At jam_stern on Twitter.
At Salem LeBlanc. Salem_LeBlanc on Twitter. And also, I got a thing on Parler at SalemX. So go over there because, I've been getting back onto Twitter a little more recently, but even though Parler's got its problems, I will say the benefit is that people seem to be a little nicer on there.
For now.
Yes, for now.
Wait until the migration.
I was just going to say.
Okay. Anyone else want to let people know where they're at?
You can find Sauron in Mordor if you're able to get to Mordor.
Yeah, you just got to cross through, was it New Zealand? Got it.
Yeah.
But no one
Just
simply
find the-
walks into Mordor.
Listen, that statement has been disproven multiple times. I don't believe it anymore.
Listen, he's called the Dark Lord, but he's a pretty nice guy. I've met with him a couple times. He's great. Don't listen to that Hobbit and wizard propaganda.
Fake news. You can find me